Apologies. Yes, good morning and welcome back to the Football Tribe UG channel. Robert Kesakos is your usual suspect. Welcome back to yet another live broadcast on your favorite sports update channel, your favorite football channel. And yes, we are back on this Wednesday morning, the 2nd of July, for the Wednesday morning sports update. Welcome back from last night's action from the FIFA Club World Cup and much more. And we're going to be discussing that and a lot more in this morning's broadcast. So join me on this journey as we discuss the latest from that side. Then, of course, we'll get to speak about some transfer updates because Marcus Rashford could be on the move to Germany. So we'll be discussing that in a bit. Please forgive if my voice is a bit down. I'm struggling with some oral pain. I'm yet to figure out what exactly it is, but we'll see. We'll try our best to make sure that everything goes smoothly. It's a bit of a cool weather. It's a bit of a cool weather. Actually, we're experiencing some drizzles this morning. For those of you that are just joining us, and I'm coming to you live from Kampala, in Uganda. That's where we are based. That's where we are based. And this morning we'll be looking at Juventus, who have made a move to sign Jonathan David, while Bayern Munich are interested in Rashford, and we'll speak a little more about Arsenal's interest in Noni Madueke. For those of you that are regulars on the channel, you may have seen a shot on our video, on our channel. We did publish that yesterday, speaking a little more about Arsenal's interest in Noni Madueke and whether that holds any water. And to the best of our knowledge, there's a bit of concrete interest there. Anyways, allow me to say thank you to all our new subscribers. Welcome to the community. It's a pleasure to have you here. It's good to have you join us. For those that have gone ahead and watched our content, the respective videos, yesterday we did put up 2 videos. This morning is one that is just premiered. So thank you to all of you that have gone ahead to, check out that content. You're really, really much appreciated. And I hope you continue to watch it. Give us your feedback in the comment section. Leave a like on the video while you're at it and things of that nature. So, like I said, it's beginning to rain out there. So, in any case, in case you're not hearing me well, do not hesitate to advise me to amplify my voice. So I'm waiting for you guys to join the broadcast so that we can get this today's conversation started. I can't start without you guys chipping in. I don't want to start it without you guys chipping in. So I'll hang in here and wait for you guys to join us, so that we can have the conversation around today morning's sports update. So yeah, just waiting for others to join us, to join the broadcast, 3 minutes in, 4 minutes in. Okay, we'll still wait. We are waiting for others to join us so that we can get started with the conversation. But if you're just joining us, please leave a like on the broadcast. But also, if you're new here, please consider subscribing. I want to send my shout outs to usual suspects, the Yellow Dayak from Malaysia, people like Peter Parker. Thank you so much. Pressing Kosi, thank you so much. February, thank you so much. Ashley Cabrera, thank you so much. HKMA, Explorer, MD, Ike, and so many others, and those that do frequent the channel every single day and who spare the time to be here with us as we get to discuss the latest from the world of sports. I'm having my gadget's freezing. I do not know for what reason, but I hope we do not get stuck. I hope we do not get stuck because Mugabe Julius, good morning, Mugabe Julius. Good to have you on the broadcast. I think I'm seeing Mugabe here for the first time, but it's a pleasure to have you on the broadcast. If you're just joining us for the very first time, please leave a like on the channel, on the broadcast, but also consider subscribing to the channel as well. As before we get started with today's conversation. Okay. I'm trying to put everything to keep everything in check here. I was having one of my devices freezing, and yet I needed to be reading your feedback from the broadcast. And that's what I rely on, because sometimes some of your comments, when they're a bit lengthy, I struggle to read them off the phone directly. So I tend to use a secondary device for that. So sort of playing a bit of tricks on me here and there. Anyways, let's start things off with the FIFA Club World Cup, because yesterday we did witness Juventus get knocked out at the hands of Real Madrid at the round of 16. That goal scored by Gonzalo Garcia was enough to ensure that Real Madrid cruised to victory as they knocked out Juventus. That goal coming in the 54th minute, a brilliant header with Alexander Trent-Arnold providing the assist there. It was that kind of game where it was a 50-50, if I'm being honest. While Real Madrid won the game, I think the margin of victory tells it all. There wasn't a huge difference between the two sides in terms of the overall game. I wouldn't want to sit here and say Real Madrid were quite dominant, even though they had majority of possession of up to 57% compared to Juventus's 43%. But once again, you can see the difference was a bit slight. Shots on target, Real Madrid had a good fair share of goals. They had as many as 11, as opposed to Juventus's 2. While off target, Real Madrid had 7 and Juventus had 3. So, of course, the scoreline that Real Madrid won, I think, also paints the right picture that they deserve to win because they created more goal scoring opportunities. If it wasn't for the Juventus goalkeeper in Michel Di Gregorio, I think we probably would be discussing a different result, because he did pull off some immaculate saves. One attempt was from Adagula, another was from Jody Bellingham. And so he was quite alive to the challenges that did come his way on the day. But once again, the youngster in Gonzalo Garcia being the one to inspire Real Madrid to victory. Kylian Mbappe did come on at some point with Gonzalo Garcia. That's the goal scorer paving the way for the French international. But he didn't really have any significant impact on the game overall. And then in the other fixture, pretty much like we had predicted, Borussia Dortmund got the better of Monterrey. Monterrey, they are from Mexico. Greece was the scorer for both goals, as Sahua Greece was the goal scorer for both goals, as Borussia Dortmund beat up against Monterrey by 2-1. Bateremi was the scorer for what turned out to be a mere consolation for Monterrey, although Monterrey had scored another, what would have been the equalizer in that game, but it was cancelled out due to an offside in the build-up. So that means that Borussia Dortmund booked a date with their 2024 UEFA Champions League finalist rivals in Real Madrid. So we're going to see a repeat of that. Pretty much like yesterday, we saw a repeat of the 2017 UEFA Champions League final between Real Madrid and Juventus. So we're going to get a repeat of the 2024 UEFA Champions League final between Real Madrid and Borussia Dortmund. That's at the quarterfinals of the competition. So yeah, do keep your eyes peeled out for that, because we do have action will continue after those fixtures. We're officially done with the round of 16. Teams those that have been sent packing have been sent packing, and now we get to go to the quarterfinals of the competition. And in the first quarterfinal that will come on the 4th of July. MD Ashik, good morning to you, my brother. How are you doing? It's always a pleasure to have you on the podcast. Thank you so much for your continued support. I really, really do appreciate you. So on the 4th of July, that's when? On Friday, yes, at 10 p.m., we will have a game between Fluminense. Is it going to be Friday or Thursday? I think it will be Friday. Yes, Friday, 4th of July. We will have Fluminense up against Al Hilal in the first quarterfinal, while at 4 a.m. Chelsea will be up against Pyramides. That will be on the day leading to Saturday or Saturday in the wee hours of the morning. That's at 4 a.m. East African time. While then on the same day, the 5th still of July at 7 p.m. East African time, Paris Saint-Germain will be up against Bayern Munich. PSG are the reigning champions of the UEFA Champions League, and my expectation is that they do remain, favorites for this tournament. Then, still on the same day, Real Madrid at 10 p.m. Sorry, at 11 p.m. will come up with Borussia Dortmund in that game. So that will conclude for us, the quarterfinals by Saturday, by the end of Saturday. And then, of course, we'll skip Sunday and Monday, and then we turn on Tuesday with the semi-finals. Those games kicking off at 10 p.m. at least on the 9th of July. That's the expectation before we climax to a final that will be played next Sunday, but one that will be on the 13th of July to see the tournament climax. But so far so good. I thought the attendance was good, especially when we reached the round of 16. Of course, it's not all good across board, but I think the tournament in itself is living to the expectation that we are hoped for, that maybe it will grow on people. For those that are following it ardently, I think you may share similar sentiments. For those that have sort of followed skips of it, may have a totally different view, the sake of coincidence. For example, I do remember the group stages. If you watch the game between PSG and Atletico Madrid, you would acknowledge that, yeah, there was good attendance for that game. But then if you had just yourself for the game against Mamelodi Sundowns and Usulan, if it was your first game, you'd call the competition a total failure. So in terms of attracting numbers to the stadium. So in that kind of sense, really. So for me, I think fairly it's been a fair success. But if, and this is a big if FIFA want to, this tournament to continue going further, I think the 2029 edition ought to be somewhere around Europe. Not because Europe is the home of football or anything in that regard, but in terms of the public transport, the devotion to the game, and maybe even when it comes to some of the kickoff times, maybe then they will be more favorable for the larger scope of the world to follow some of those games. And indeed, they are contenders to try and host the next edition. Spain is one of them. Morocco is one of them. That's in Africa. Brazil would be interested in hosting the second edition, while the United States of America would want to have a do-over come 2029. Well, apparently, Qatar also expressed a certain level of interest in wanting to host the next edition of the FIFA Club World Cup. So keep your eyes peeled to that situation, and in case FIFA do make a decision in regards to who can host the next edition of the tournament, we will be letting you guys know on that front. So that's the latest from that front. Quickly, let's run away from that and go to the updates from the FIFA Club World Cup. Sorry, from the transfer news, because that's where the gist of the conversation really is. Because as of this morning, we have the here we go for Jonathan David to join Juventus. The 25-year-old Canadian international has did leave Lille as a free agent. So during the start of the week and dating far back, I think during the course of the weekend, Juventus and Jonathan David's account have been embroidered in serious talks Juventus do have a striker in their ranks in Dusan Vlahovic, but they are open to letting him go, the former Fiorentina forward. I'm not yet certain in regards to interest, especially from the Premier League, but at least I'm sure, although I do not know of my fingertips, that there should be interest from Italian Serie A clubs. So he did say that Jonathan David to Juventus, here we go, verbal agreement reached overnight on every detail with the Canadian striker, long-term deal agreed, and Jonathan David is set to travel for medical tests and for more steps to follow. Contracts to be checked and signed soon. That's according to Fabrizio Romano this morning, speaking about Jonathan David. He had attracted interest from the likes of Napoli, the likes of Fenerbahce, among a whole host of other clubs, but looks like it's Juventus that are going to get it their way, that are pulling ahead in regards to their pursuit for the 25-year-old Canadian striker. Then quickly we'll move away from Jonathan David, and okay, before we steer away from Jonathan David, overall, I think Juventus are getting a very, very good player in Jonathan David, one that is capable of, scoring the goals. I do not think his abilities are are questionable, but what it means moving to a new league could be entirely different. But in as far as being in the French League One for all the 5 seasons he's been there, he was able to hack it. Last season in the UEFA Champions League, we did see him score 7 goals in 10 matches with 2 assists. So that's a brilliant, quite return on investment. Overall, in the French League One, dating far back to 2020, 2021, when he made his debut for Lille, he's been quite oftentimes available. Really, he's been oftentimes available to play, and he's made an average of more than 34 games. So he's had his average at least 33 games plus per season. In his first campaign, he scored 13 goals and provided 2 assists, while the following campaign, that was 2021-2022, he scored 15 goals. 2022-2023, he scored 24 goals. That was the best season he posted. He scored 24 goals and provided 4 assists. While the 2023-2024 season, in 34 appearances, scored 19 goals and provided 4 assists. That's still a goal involvement of 23. Of course, the previous one he had managed 28, so 5 less than that. And then this season, or the recently concluded season, he scored 16 goals and provided 5 assists. That gives him a 21 goal involvement. Of course, there has been a bit of a decline, but could easily point that to the overall performance of the team. I think the season in which he scored the 24 goals, that's the season Lille went on to lift the league title. So, sorry, the League One title, not League a League One title. So, Juventus get in for themselves quite an impressively proven forward in Jonathan David. So quickly, as regards to the transfer gossip and speculation as of this morning, the Sun do report that Bayern Munich are considering a shock move for Manchester United and England forward Marcus Rashford, only 27 years of age, after being impressed by his form on loan last season. I do not want to say that these reports are wide of the mark, because Bayern Munich have quite the lengthy shortlist for their preferred player to play on their left wing, and among those is Gabriel Martinelli, Nico Williams, Bradley Barcola, Cody Gakpo, Luis Diaz, Rafael Leao, Kaoru Mitoma. All those have been mentioned within the ranks of Bayern Munich. So if they are getting to add Marcus Rashford to the tally, I'm not inclined to believe otherwise, that it is a speculation, far-fetched, because I think it's quite a very possible or even plausible. Then Arsenal are moving closer to reaching a deal for Arsenal are moving closer to a deal for Sporting Lisbon forward Victor Gyökeres. The 27-year-old has told his club he wants to join the Gunners. That's according to L'Equipe in France. Now, ever since that news was put out by L'Equipe, I've also had contrary, reports to that. Of course, Arsenal and Sporting Lisbon are yet to agree a deal for Victor Gyökeres, but it is true that Arsenal are interested, and the player is practically desperate to leave because he has already said he won't be returning for pre-season, and nor will he be playing for Sporting Lisbon again because he feels they have broken the gentleman's agreement that would permit him to leave for about 65 million euros, with 5 million euros in expected add-ons. That's 30, significantly less of that is 30 million euros, significantly less of the initial release of the release clause in his contract. So that situation, will keep tabs on it. Then Crystal Palace have reached an agreement. Crystal Palace have reached a 47 million pound agreement to sign Ousmane Diomande. That's the 21-year-old defender, Ivory Coast defender from Sporting Lisbon, as a potential replacement for Marc Guéhi. Remember, the 24-year-old Crystal Palace captain Marc Guéhi is subject to interest from the likes of Liverpool and Newcastle, as well as Tottenham Hotspurs, with only a year left to his current contract with the Eagles. Excuse me. Okay, Manchester United have apparently approached Inter Milan about a deal to sign Italian midfielder David Fratesi at 25 years of age. That's according to Cold Offside, while Arsenal have already submitted an offer to England winger Noni Madueke. That's 23 years of age, who may leave Chelsea this summer. That's according to Sky German. Now, this news was broken by Sky Germany's Florian Plettenberg to say that Arsenal apparently had made an offer, received or read reports contrary to that statement that Arsenal have made, submitted an offer. What is true is that Arsenal have made inquiries about Noni Madueke. They've spoken to the players' camp. They've assessed a potential deal, and yeah, but they are yet to approach Chelsea to try and sign the 23-year-old. That is not yet. That has yet to happen. That has yet to happen really. But Arsenal do really consider potentially signing Noni Madueke. They want him apparently as a backup for Bukayo Saka, and that deal possibly has nothing to do with Arsenal's pursuit for a striker, a left winger, and an attacking midfielder in their pursuit for Ebeleche Eze, who they want as for the attacking midfielder, and then Rodrigo Goes for a left winger. Now, the initial reports did suggest that did seem to point in the direction of it was an either-or between signing Ebeleche Eze or Rodrigo Goes for Arsenal's preference of a left winger. But according to David Austin, he did say that Arsenal's pursuit for Ebeleche Eze has nothing to do, or is quite different from their own pursuit of a striker and a left winger. That was yesterday. He said Arsenal put Ebeleche Eze high among options to bolster attack. No contact with Crystal Palace yet. Unclear if he needs exit. But serious candidate. Plus, separate to striker and winger, Arsenal would look to pay below release clause. Tottenham Hotspurs are not pursuing a deal now at the moment. That's according to David Austin yesterday. So, and now, by the time we got that news, we had already shot our video in regards to who Arsenal should choose between Ebeleche Eze and Rodrigo. And for me, once again, that notwithstanding, if the decision boiled down to choosing one of the two between Rodrigo and Ebeleche Eze, one being 24 years of age and the other being 27, I think there's only one front runner in that race. And if you do want to find out what our thoughts are on that particular topic, please go check out the video on the channel and watch it and let us know what you think about our submission in regards to who Arsenal should choose between Ebelechi Eze and Rodrigo Goes. Should it boil down to having to make one choice? So, but then back to the conversation around Noni Madueke. The truth is that Arsenal have expressed interest, but are yet to make a bid. They did simply hold exploratory talks. And now, what do we mean by exploratory talks? Those are talks where you make inquiries about, one, the availability of the player, the kind of wages they are on, is there a release clause in his contract, would he be open to making the move to a pursuing club, in this particular case Arsenal, and things of that nature. So, and Fabrizio Romano yesterday said that as much that Arsenal are discussing Noni Madueke internally in a separate deal from Ebelechi Eze, as reported here last week. No proposal has been sent yet to Chelsea or Noni Madueke, as Arsenal keep assessing multiple options. So the thing about Arsenal this time on is that they're not, in their shortlists or in their list of potential targets. They have multiple players and are opposed to zeroing down to a primary target and say we'll push for this one, and then if we fail, we'll go to a plan B. They're going with a different ship. What they are doing is they are pursuing on multiple fronts. So let's say if they are looking for a left winger, they are pursuing. They are discussing multiple names. Rodrigo Goes. They are discussing Kaoru Mitoma. They have discussed Bradley Bakola. Now Noni Madueke comes in, although he doesn't want to play at the left wing. He would prefer to play at the right wing. So, and things of that nature. So that's what is really happening about Arsenal. So when you get to hear so many names or so many players being into the potential with Arsenal, please do not be off-put by dismissing some of those rumors. It's Andrea Bata's way of attacking the market. And if I were to borrow the words of Ben Jacobs, he put it this way. He said he is the kind of guy who, if he is going out for dinner or a party, he likes to try out many outfits, and then in the final minutes he will surprise you by settling on one. So that's why you keep hearing Arsenal being involved in multiple conversations. Then we've spoken about Jonathan David. That's as good as that. Then Colombian forward John Duran, 22-year-old now. He did turn 22 years of age. Is flying from his homeland, that's Colombia, to Turkey to complete a loan move from Al Nassr to Fenerbahce. Yes, that's John Duran. So, in fact, he's still 21 years of age. Apologies. He turns 22 on 13th December. That's the former Aston Villa striker. So quite a brilliant player, still very young. So far, in 13 matches at Al Nassr, he scored 8 goals. So which was quite impressive. While for Aston Villa, remember he left Aston Villa in January. He had scored 7 goals in 20 Premier League appearances, and yet in the UEFA Champions League he had scored 3 goals in 7 games. So that's the impressive 21-year-old Colombian striker. Then Newcastle are exploring a move for Marseille and Argentina centre-back Leonardo Belaldi at 26, who is also of interest to Juventus. Burnley are working on striker options for manager Scott Parker, with Genk and Nigerian forward Tolu Arokodare at 24 years under consideration. That's according to the Telegraph. While AC Milan are hoping to sign Switzerland midfielder Adon Jashari, 22 years of age, from Club Brugge in a deal worth about £30 million. That's according to La Gazzetta dello Sport in Italy. While Manchester City will sign 15-year-old Kalen Cole Kademateri from Sheffield Wednesday in a £1.5 million deal. The forward is the son of former Everton striker Danny. That's according to Mail. West Ham face a battle to convince Slavia Prague to sell Senegalese left back El Hadj Malik Diouf at 20 years of age. That's according to the Guardian. West Ham are open to letting go of Muhammad Kudus. Tottenham are really pursuing Muhammad Kudus. Let's wait on that. I do not know why teams are not pursuing Gerard Bowen from West Ham. He's one of the most effective players you'll watch in the Premier League in recent times. And I do think that his numbers do speak for themselves in terms of yes. When you look at his statistics, at least for West Ham over the last couple of seasons, for example, last season he scored 13 goals and provided 8 assists. That's a 21 goal involvement. The season before that, that was 2023-2024. In 34 games, he scored 16 goals and provided 6 assists. That's a 22 goal involvement. And then of course 2022-2023, he had this sort of a dip. He played all 38 Premier League games, but he had 6 goals and 5 assists, an 11 goal involvement. But you go back to 2021-2022 season, in 36 appearances, 12 goals and 10 assists. That's a 22 goal involvement. So he's one of those reliable players that you can rely on. I do know he's 28 years of age, and in December he will be turning 29, which could be maybe off-putting for his age profile. But if you're looking for an effective forward player, then for me Gerard Bowen should be a consideration. But like I said, Tottenham for now looking at Muhammad Kudus. That's the 25-year-old Ghanaian international who they want to pursue or send from West Ham. Then West Ham will let go of Michail Antonio. Remember Michail Antonio, he did suffer and he was involved in a terrible car accident, broke his legs. He since recovered well from those injuries, and he's back on the turf training, doing some light works here and there. West Ham said they will extend him the leeway to offer him their facilities to train with them, albeit his contract has since ended. And they will assess when he does recover. They will assess his future. He is looking to getting back into the game, although suffering broken legs in a car accident. But let's wait and see. We can only wish Michail Antonio all the best in his road to full recovery, and hope that he does recover well and get himself playing again. He was one of those reliable players at West Ham. Remember, he used to play as a right back, and then he was moved to play as a striker. So that speaks to his dynamism and tenacity. And then of course they're letting go of Lucas Fabianski, so they may be in the market for goalkeeper. They are in the market for goalkeeper. We do not know what is going to happen with Lucas Paqueta. The FA apparently wanted to seek a total ban for him from football, which I believe is incredibly harsh, because apparently he did breach the anti-betting rules, because some people from his hometown, that small island in Brazil called Paqueta, did bet on him getting yellow cards and got yellow cards and things of that nature. So he's still under investigation, but a verdict is yet to be out. Then Crystal Palace could be denied the opportunity to participate in the UEFA Europa League, but a decision is yet to be made by UEFA. It was only pushed further forward because of being found in breach of malt ownership, agreements. That's or rules, because their former shareholder in John Textor is also a majority shareholder in Olympic Lyon, who have been relegated for financial reasons. So we'll keep tabs on that situation as well. Then what else? Manchester United are interested in Oli Watkins. That deal we spoke about. Man United have, also spoken to Oli Watkins' camp. However, a deal for the 29-year-old England international will depend on if Man United can move on Rasmus Højlund, who is a target for apparently Inter Milan, among others. Then Kenny Tete chose to stay with Fulham despite having his contract end with the Cottagers. he did sign a 3-year contract, even though he had an offer as well from Everton to join them as a free agent. So that is there. While Manchester United, Newcastle, and Arsenal target Anton Semenyo has put pen to paper on a long-term contract with AFC Bournemouth. So that's a 5-year contract that will see him at the club until June 2030. So that deal looks like people won't be getting it their way. While Alexander Lacazette did complete a move to Neom SC, that's in the Saudi Pro League, where he signed a 2-year contract. Good for Alexander Lacazette. I mean, he's done it all in Europe. He can only go make himself some money for retirement. Then the other key news from yesterday is Chelsea target Malik Fofana. That's the 20-year-old, is he Canadian? Malik Fofana, yes. According to Fabrizio Romano, Nottingham Forest reached an agreement with Olympic Lyon for Malik Fofana, but there's still no agreement on the player's side. Fofana waiting for Champions League clubs, with Chelsea are still keen on the player. Understand Bayern Munich and Napoli have also called to make initial approach. Now, if Malik Fofana, only 19 years of age, then really, why would you go to Chelsea? They already have, plenty of options. Why would you go and be suffocated at Chelsea and struggle for playing time? I understand the concept of, believing in yourself and thinking that you can, earn your place in a team, but Chelsea just have way too many options. They just have way too many options, So why take that risk? So for me, I would recommend that you join a team like maybe Napoli. You'd have a better chance at Napoli, maybe even at Bayern Munich, because Bayern Munich have given youngsters opportunity. Jamal Musiala, we've seen it with Michael Olise, and we're talking about a Bayern Munich team that is losing, or that has lost Leroy Sané. So there's room in there. Players like Serge Gnabry, in a year or two, will be leaving Bayern Munich, so there will be more room created. So to look at it in a longer term, for me, I wouldn't recommend that a player of his age moves to Chelsea. He's just going to be another youngster who has joined Chelsea on a very long-term contract, who is not sure they are going to be drafted even in the Premier League squad, because Chelsea have so many players and things of that nature. So, but Chelsea remain interested in signing him as well, just as much as they remain interested in signing Mohamed Kudus. So it is what it is. Meanwhile, João Pedro did sign his contract with Chelsea. Everything valid. It's a 7-year contract valid until June 2032. So that one is equally there for the world to know. While Jamie Gittins is also sealed. So if you're Malik Fofana and Chelsea have signed all those players, why then would you choose Chelsea? Unless it's for the money, there I would totally understand. But if it's for footballing reasons, at the moment, for a young player, any young player, I wouldn't recommend that they join Chelsea, unless you're a defender. If you're a defender, there's still room for you at Chelsea. If you're a goalkeeper, don't even think about it, because Chelsea have so many goalkeepers, and all they need is a senior goalkeeper, a player like maybe Mike Maignan. That's the goalkeeper from AC Milan who they are targeting, maybe Emiliano Martinez. And I was speaking the other day saying that if I'm Chelsea, Emiliano Martinez at the age of 32 would be a no-brainer, because what I would do is go to Aston Villa, who I know will want to replace a goalkeeper like him, and say, look here, I'm going to offer you Robert Sanchez, who I value at about 30 million pounds, and then I'll pay you maybe 10 or 15 million pounds to sign Emiliano Martinez. And I'm thinking they could be open to that kind of deal. So make your assessment, Chelsea. I mean, he is a better goalkeeper than all the goalkeepers they do have in their ranks. That's Chelsea, in as far as they are concerned, because they have a good number of goalkeepers. Actually, plenty of goalkeepers they do have within their ranks. Of course, they've already lost one, or they've let go of one. That was Marcus Bettinelli, who joined Manchester City as their third choice goalkeeper. But they still have Robert Sanchez, Philip Jackson, Mike Penders, that's the young goalkeeper, Lucas Bergstrom, Kepa Arrizabalaga has also left to join Arsenal. So at least they've managed to cut off 2 out of 8 goalkeepers. Jody Petrovic is also there. Teddy Sherman Lowe is also still on their roster. So that's 6 goalkeepers, and they want to add on. So for me, I would take a swap, really, if I'm Chelsea. So, but I think they need a better goalkeeper than Robert Sanchez. Also, they need at least a centre back. They need at least a centre back to help Levi Colwill to perhaps stand in for Wesley Fofana, because oftentimes he gets injured. So that's that. But anyways, that's my opinion. Chelsea fans, do let me know what your opinions are on that situation. Do you agree? Do you disagree? I do know for a fact that Anthony Agaba, who is an ardent Chelsea fan, he certainly does agree that Chelsea should consider signing a goalkeeper like Emiliano Martinez. In any case, I thought they could have even made a move for Liverpool's Kelleher, because he is still better than all the goalkeepers they do have, in my opinion. Again, so if you do agree, let me know down in the comment section, or if you do disagree with that submission. Yes, so I think that's a majority of the transfer updates. United remain interested in signing Tyler Dibling, that's the youngster from Southampton. They also remain interested in other striker names like Moises Kean, Victor Gyökeres, Victor Osimhen, but again, not much movement has been made, and that's been so much to the frustration of Manchester United fans, and we do get to discuss that as well on the channel. Manchester United fans are valid to be frustrated by what they believe their team's lack of transfer business, or their slowness or sloppiness in terms of getting deals over the line, and we do digest that situation a bit more. That video is already up on the channel. Do go check it out. But also, they've been linked with the potential move for Douglas Luiz, that's the 27-year-old Brazilian holding midfielder at Juventus, who did leave Aston Villa just over a season ago, but things have not really worked out for him at Juventus. He suffered a couple of injuries, but things have not really worked to the extent that they ended up, settling for McKennie. James McKennie to be the starter in that holding midfield role ahead of Douglas Luiz, who they signed quite expensively in a deal worth about 45 million euros. So let's wait and see. But the Man United are not the only ones interested in Douglas Luiz. Anyways, guys, it's been a pleasure doing this with you. Let's catch up again later. If there's any news worth of revisiting, we'll be here during the lunchtime hour special. If there's some big breaking news to discuss, but also then we can also catch up in our late night broadcast. Should there nothing be worthy for us to digest during the middle of the day. But also, before I let you go, this is regarding. Okay, yes, this regards to Arsenal. I know these questions continue, but the Arsenal view, I think, Rodrigo as one of the marquee signings they can make in the transfer window, alongside the striker. And then they want to make these other additions both at the right wing and in the attacking midfield. But also, if they lose Zinchenko, I can't rule out the fact that they may go out to try and sign another defender, because they do hold interest in Jorel Hato, who is also been added to Liverpool's shortlist. Then it's been added to Liverpool's shortlist. Liverpool, we've spoken about McGay, but is their primary target, but Jorel Hato is one of those on that shortlist. And then maybe we are still waiting for an agreement on Christian Mosquera. Now, Valencia have tried to offer Christian Mosquera a new deal, but he's not interested really in a new deal from Valencia. He wants to join Arsenal. Arsenal are yet to agree on a transfer fee between themselves and Valencia. So let's wait and see, because they do want him, Christian Mosquera, as the backup for William Saliba in their squad. So let's wait and see how things will develop on that front. We've spoken about Bayern Munich's interest in Luis Diaz. It's quite serious, but like I said, Bayern Munich are being indecisive in their pursuit for a left winger. One day they are pushing for Nico Williams. Tomorrow they want Bradley Bacola. Then the following day they want Rafael Leao. Another day it's Luis Diaz. Another day it's the 26-year-old Dutch international Cody Gakpo, and things of that nature really. So let's keep waiting and see where they will finally settle in regards to farming up their actual interest for that. So, but in as far as the situation is concerned, they are yet to make an offer, but they are still, I think they want to first sign Nick Woltmed from Stuttgart as their preferred choice for a striker, and we will see how things progress on that regard. They've already reached an agreement on personal terms with Nick Woltmed, so we will see how everything does span out for that. So anyways, guys, have yourselves a blessed day. It's been a pleasure doing this with you. Thank you so much, Mugabe Julius. Thank you so much, MD Ashik, for being with us during the course of this broadcast. So we will see during the course of the day. Let me rush out to hospital and see if I can get myself some medication. Bye bye for now.